Today, on episode 5 of the Reaper Paranormal Show, we're discussing the haunted history of Gettysburg. What's up, everybody? Today, we're discussing the haunted history of Gettysburg. I am Roy, and I'm joined by my co-host, Tom. Tom, what is going on?
Hey, what's up, Roy? How you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. Busy weekend.
Yeah.
Holiday weekend. How was your Thanksgiving?
Good. Quiet. We just laid low. We ordered some Chinese later in the night. First time using DoorDash, which is pretty cool. And just laid low. How about you?
Yeah, same with me. We ordered Chinese food and had a quiet day. I was actually off. I work in the medical profession, so I was actually off. Got to
Nice.
enjoy the evening. Did nothing, and I was tired because of it because I did nothing. So
Yeah.
it was
Isn't that funny how that works? It's
Yeah.
like the less you do, the more tired you are. It's
yes,
sort
it
of
was
weird.
crazy.
Nice.
It was nuts.
Nice.
So yesterday you came over the house. We did a turkey.
Yeah.
We smoked the turkey for the first time ever.
So good.
Worked out pretty well.
So good. It was potatoes came out good too. Yeah, I was.
Those are the ones I burned.
Hey, they were still good, man. You know, you eat around the char, and
Well, it was amazing because, like, I don't know what possessed me to say. I see what I did. In case you were wondering, I cooked them on the gas grill and I smoked the turkey on a Weber kettle. They're not sponsors, by the way. But if they want to sponsor us, we'd love them to.
yeah, hit us up.
Good. Yeah, what was that, Tom?
I was just saying, if they want to sponsor us, hit us up.
Right. So in my grand wisdom, after the turkey was cooked, smoked, the potatoes were finishing up. I did got some sweet potatoes. I cut them in medallions, like a half-inch thick-ish, and threw them on the gas grill. So I slow cooked them for about an hour. Came out perfect. And for some reason, I go, let's throw them on the charcoal grill for some extra char. Well, stupid me put them on, and I overcharred them on one side. Some of them, which was weird. Like 5 or 6 of them was overcharred, and the rest of them came out okay. So I don't know.
Yeah, they tasted fine.
They were good.
Yeah, they came out good, man. Everything came out good. The turkey, I'd never really had a smoked turkey before, so like not somebody cooked it and eat it right there like that.
Yeah, same here.
So I was, it came out good, man. So, before we kind of get into Gettysburg, last week we did Robert the Dial, and that it's one of the things that freaks me. One of the few paranormal things that actually like really freaks me out, and I don't know why, but it just does, and I try to be very respectful to Robert because I don't want for him to curse me. I mean, Roy was very mean to Robert.
Belligerent.
Yes, he was screaming and swearing at Robert, but me and Shay were trying to be very respectful. But since that episode, later that night, my TV broke. Yeah, it's less than a year old. We bought it last Black Friday. 65-inch LG, really nice, expensive TV. It broke. It just turns on. You plug it in, it turns on, off. It just started later that night. And I have, hopefully somebody will be out tomorrow. The next day, I've been without my big TV for over a week. Also, a guy tried to rip me off on a purchase. I had pre-ordered something back in April for May, and I'd been in contact with the guy, about once a month, asking, "Hey, when's this coming?" And he'd always get back to me. And then it got to like the 6-month mark, and that's basically when you either have to file a claim or it just goes away with PayPal. And he just disappeared the day after that. So I contacted PayPal, blah, blah, blah. And, I got a dispute going on him. But that happened. So a guy tried to rip me off since then. And there was something else that happened. And I was just like, this is crazy. Now I can't even think of it. I'm running a blank. here.
It was so traumatizing that you can't remember. Well, that's what you get to him. If you're mean to the little bastard, he doesn't mess with you. So you guys are all nice to him. Shay's not here today because she's probably being tortured by him right now.
Yeah, it's yeah. Oh, the heat in my house is broken. That's now my heat's broken in my house in winter in New England. Luckily, me and Roy were just talking about what a nice day it is outside, so it's not too cold. And I prefer cold. I always wear hoodies, and I'll just put a blanket on or something. But yeah, the heat's broken in my house. So 3 things since Robert. Whatever you believe or not, kind of weird that it's had some shit ass luck since that last episode.
So as Thomas is implying, do not piss off Robert the doll.
Yeah, don't mess with Robert. Even
don't be like me.
If you're gonna do a podcast about him or something, ask permission from
his reach reaches from Key West, Florida, all the way to Rhode Island.
Yes, you just send an email to the museum asking permission if you're gonna do anything about him, just in case. Just in case.
I'll give it another week for me, see if it reaches all the way up here to Massachusetts. And if we have anything happening up here in Mass, I'll let you guys know next week. Maybe his reach just couldn't quite get here.
Yeah.
So Tom's getting the brunt of my torturing him.
Yes. Yeah, so that was my week. That was my week.
So Gettysburg. Can you believe there's over 100 years of reports of activity? 100 years.
Yeah, like in doing my research, it's just like, they call it one of the most active paranormal places on Earth.
Yeah.
And, it's pretty crazy. I really can't wait for us to go down there. I'll get a vehicle from work, and we can all hop in and head down there. That's going to be awesome.
Since I became a paranormal investigator, that's one place I've always wanted to go. There are plenty of places, but that's, I got into the paranormal, and then as I've gotten into the paranormal, I've been more enamored with our history. I've never been a history buff, but a lot of our paranormal centers around part of our history.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that, I've gotten more into our history, because once you get into the history, you find out more about the paranormal activity, where it could be coming from, and blah blah blah. So that's very cool. Like, people see phantoms down there. They hear like wounded soldiers crying out in pain. It's crazy. But let's get into some stories. You want to do the first story? We'll alternate.
Why don't you start it?
All right.
Notes here.
Let's start with a tiny bit of history here.
Okay.
So, for the 2 people on the planet Earth who listen to this podcast don't know, this Gettysburg was a site of a Confederate and Union armies where they fought. And the fighting happened between July 1st and July 3rd of 1863. It was a 3-day bloodbath, which is, think about that 2 regiments just going at each other for 3 full days. That's just totally insane. Can you imagine them being like a fly on the wall for that battle?
Yeah. It's, oh God, I have friends in the military. I mean, I know you do too, and it's just like, I can barely stay awake for 3 days for work. Never mind, like, have guys shooting at me for three days and dodging bullets and shooting back. Oh God, I have so much respect for the military, man. It's like superhuman what they do.
Right.
Oof.
And obviously this battle changed history forever. And again, as I said earlier, stuff like this is what got me into the paranormal, got me into history. It's just amazing. And then, like, when I was doing my research, it gave some numbers, and 5,000 horses were killed. Over 50,000 men were dead or dying during the 3 days.
Battle. That's one battle. Days, but one battle. 50,000.
Yeah, imagine that happened today. The press would be all over that.
We didn't. If you do Iraq, Afghanistan, and Sarajevo combined, it's not 50. We didn't lose 50,000 people. That's 3 wars in the modern day.
Yeah,
That's crazy amount in
Totally
one
insane.
battle. Ugh.
And then as far as the paranormal activity goes, a lot of Confederate soldiers were never even properly buried. So they never got a proper burial. And that alone could speak a lot of paranormal activity because you have all these unsettled spirits. And in my experience and what I've been told by other investigators, and spirits can linger because they have unfinished business, one form or another. You know, and I guess someone even caught a photo of possibly Robert E. Lee. Yeah, they're not 100% sure, but they think it could be Robert E. Lee, spiritual apparition. So that fast 5 times. Yeah, so even generals, you might be able to see if you go to Gettysburg. Like you said, we want to go down there and check it out. But getting to some little stories. You want to do the first story? Or you want me to do the first story?
You could tell the first, and then I'll jump in on the second.
All right. So the first story I'm going to talk about real quick is the Daniel Lady Farm. It was used at the Confederate Army's field hospital, and soldiers would go there injured, and they would be brought here to recover. And some of them would obviously suffer their final moments of life. And again, this could add a lot of injury. A lot of injury. I can't even talk this morning. A lot of energy in the air. And the ghost of General Isaac Ewell, if I'm saying that right, has reportedly been seen. And his 10,000 soldiers reportedly still haunt the farm. That alone. Go ahead, Tom.
I was going to say 10,000. Can you imagine that? Like, oh God, like I think about going down there with Shay, and then there's like 10,000 soldiers. Like, I would not want to be her around. Right. You know, Shay's for all of you that she's been on a few episodes, she is a sensitive. And oh my, like 10,000.
Yeah. I can imagine her head's going to be spinning.
Yes. Oh God.
So that's definitely a hotspot. We definitely.
Yeah.
We'll have to try to contact them, see if they'll let us come there and do some investigating.
Wow. Whoa, man. That's insane. An insane number. 10,000 soldiers still haunt.
Yeah, 10,000.
10,000 entities haunting something. It's
imagine living there. Oh my God, you must be busy.
Yeah.
Holy Jesus.
No, thank you.
Yep.
Oh.
You want to do the next story?
Sure. So, well, I'll talk about the Balladary. I think I'm saying that right. The Balladary Inn, which is it's obviously an inn. It's located on Hospital Road, and the inn actually served as a Union field hospital. Like they do, they do that in war now. They'll have to, depending on what country it's in, build like field hospitals. So they're just like essentially like a makeshift hospital in something. They're even doing it right now with COVID. For my mother actually works for a hospital, and they've built like makeshift, just little hospital. They look more like morgues. I'm not gonna lie, just because they're predicting an influx of it. So yeah, so they use the inn as a Union field hospital. So in our research, we a psychic believes that the inn is haunted. Partially, there is rumored to be Confederate soldiers buried underneath. So I mean, that could do it, for sure. Hang on one second. And and that's right. And there is also rumored to be some soldiers buried beneath the nearby tennis court. But when I think about it, down there, and maybe I'm wrong on this, Roy, but like with a battle that big that went on for that long, there's probably soldiers buried everywhere.
Yeah,
like that. Am I wrong? Or
no? I mean, like I was saying in the last story, there were soldiers who never got a proper burial to begin with. So I'm sure they didn't just go, well, let's bury them all in one spot. No, they were probably buried wherever they were laying. That'd be my thing. I'm sure they moved some bodies, but 50,000 bodies you're gonna move to a certain area? That ain't gonna happen.
Nah, no, I'm guessing there's probably the remains everywhere in that area, if you really were to do an excavation. But yeah, so it's believed that it's haunted, and yeah, it's another place I really, when we go down there, we'll definitely hit up, and hopefully can see some activity, get some activity.
Yeah, or at least get some audio.
Yeah, something. It's yeah, Gettysburg, very, very haunted. There's so many places down here. So.
Oh my god, yeah, that's so amazing. And that's the other thing. People think that the hauntings are all in the field. That's the vision most people get. There's hauntings all over the city. All over the city, which you're gonna hear about. Like my next story is from the Cash Town Inn. And this is reportedly the site of the first soldier who was killed during the campaign. The current owners claim to have pictures taken from 1987 all the way through 2007, and they have orbs and skeletons showing up in photos. Now, as far as orbs and skeletons,
I know you're fan of orbs, so
yeah, I mean, even skeletons. I mean, I don't know. I'd have to see the skeletons for myself, but as far as orbs and stuff goes, most orbs are dust. I hate to say it, people don't want to hear it, but especially when you're using today's cameras, which are digital, and the flash catches all kinds of light when it flashes on the actual particles in the air, and it creates orbs as it goes along. So that's going to happen. As far as skeletons go, when you take a picture of something and you see something in a picture, there's something that's called matrixing. So matrixing can cause your brain to focus and make out something that isn't there, but your brain's trying to rationalize it and prove that it's there. So
sort of like finding patterns.
Yes.
Our brain, that's why, a lot of superstition, your brain, your brain wants to make sense of everything,
Yes.
they wants to understand. So a lot of times you may see patterns and something. See, I'm not really familiar with skeletons. Now, when they say skeletons in pictures, like I'm picturing, that skeleton that your biology teacher had in high school, but I'm assuming it's not really like that. Do you have any idea what the skeletons look like in the picture?
No, because I've never seen a skeleton spirit before. I don't understand what that even is. That's why I'm thinking it's matrixing. Because I've never had any investigator ever in history ever say they call it a skeleton.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, someone show me a photo, but I have never seen it, never seen a picture online. And I've been looking up ghost photos for 10 years, 11 years, and I have never seen a skeleton. So I don't know. So anyway, Mr. Palladino, who owns the place, says he and his guests have heard thumping doors, which I'm assuming means slamming and closing shut.
Mm-hmm.
Witnesses have said they've seen lights turning on and off, doors locking and unlocking themselves. Now that, again, another place, Tom. I want to be there. I would kill to hear the thumping noises. I've heard thumping noises where I live, and where I live is haunted. And to be somewhere paranormally and have that stuff happen would be amazing. Lights turning on and off by themselves. That could be electrical.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard of that happening electrically. So that's harder to prove as paranormal.
Mm-hmm.
Now doors locking. I mean, again, we'd have to look at the door, how kind of locks they are. Again, doors locking. I know that if certain mechanisms, if you think you locked it and you quite didn't lock it, or if you think you unlocked it and not quite, little like vibration could click it over and make it seem like it's locking on its own when it's really not. So again, on the surface, that's pretty amazing. But again, as paranormal investigators, that's where we'd have to look into in Chicago for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Like, yeah, because I'm curious about, like you said, I could see that with locking and unlocking doors, like a little bit, but it's to me, it's like if this door is unlocked and then it's locked again, that'd be a good sign for me
Right.
personally.
Right. Yeah.
Because like you said, lights turning on and off. It could be electrical thing. I mean, it could be somebody hooked it up, especially nowadays with your Alexas and your, like I feel like lights can be
Controlled by your phone.
What's that?
Your lights can be controlled by your phone.
Exactly. Exactly. But doors unlocked, that would be really interesting. And the sounds, again, like I'd like to hear them. Could go either way. My house makes weird sounds sometimes, wood settling, heat turning out when the heat actually works, stuff
Damn,
like
Robert.
that. So, yeah, exactly. Well, it's okay, Robert. But yeah, another awesome place. I want to check all these places out, man, for sure. So, the next one I'm going to talk about is the ghost train. Ooh.
Nice.
So, you can take 90-minute train rides on this rides on this train rides on this train, a little redundant to say it that way. But you can take 90-minute rides on the train, and I could make this a little bigger. So it takes you across the actual battlefield during that, which would be really cool. Because like you said, I know, like you were saying, a lot of people assume that it's just the battlefield, but as we're showing, it's a lot of the places around it or things. And so it's it'd be really cool to take a train across the actual battlefield. Now this I thought was pretty interesting, but it's not proof for me, but the smell of cigar smoke. And now on this one, I have a question. Soldiers' souls. Are we saying the smell of soldiers' souls on that?
No, I think they mean the spirits.
Okay. So, but the smell of cigar smoke. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, that can be common in paranormal activity as far as like,
okay.
Specifically, if you do a private home, like when my grandmother passed away, I remember a few years later, I found out she would appear. I would smell perfume randomly when I was living with my roommate, and she didn't use perfume. Only when she went out with her boyfriend, but she never really ever wore perfume. She just wasn't that type.
Mm-hmm.
And one day we were sitting on the couch, watching TV, and I had asked her the night before, like, "Hey, you wearing perfume a lot lately?" And she's like, "No." I told her I'm smelling perfume. So we're sitting on the couch. All of a sudden, she punches me as hard as she can in my shoulder. I'm like, "Dude, what are you doing?" She goes, "I smell the perfume." She goes, "You're an asshole. That's not my perfume. That's grandmother perfume." It's just like, "That's your grandmother." She's like, "Your grandmother's here." And I can't remember what brand it was, but she told me she thought she knew what brand it was, or she would find out. And I couldn't confirm if it was my grandmother's perfume or not. But she's like, "Yeah, it's old lady perfume. It's gonna be your grandmother." I'm like, okay.
That's pretty cool. Like I wasn't really aware that like smells were that big, but it makes sense now that you're saying it. It just something I never really.
You're just gonna be careful because, like, especially like if you have like, an elderly person who passes away, you're doing the investigation there.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a heavy cigar smoker, for instance, it's gonna be in the furniture, in the wood.
Well,
it's
that's
gonna
what
be soaked in. So
with smoke,
yeah,
cigarettes and I mean, it's why people don't smoke in their house and
right.
in cars and stuff because it just lingers, and especially cigar smoke. Like cigar smoke is very raunchy, like very, very pungent, and it just sticks to everything. So, but it's still kind of cool. And now I understand the note here. So yeah, and the soldiers' souls roaming on the train or near the tracks. So that's pretty cool. Like to see. I mean, I've never seen it, but that people are saying they see soldiers' souls roaming on the train and or near the train. And
can you imagine? You're sitting on the train going for a train ride. You're just sitting there, and this person walks by you. Like, oh, someone's wearing a, Confederate soldier's uniform. Maybe they're doing a reenactment. And then you find out, no, we're not doing any reenactments. You
that,
just saw a ghost. That would
that
be cool.
that would be. So definitely another thing I want to hit up. It's just like you said, it's a 90-minute ride across the battlefield. So
Yeah, we're gonna take a week's vacation.
yeah,
And we're gonna be a very busy crew.
there's so much to see down.
Mhm.
It's gonna be a hectic week or whatever, however many days we can get down there, that's gonna
And
be to
it's like
see.
people at Gettysburg, it's not just the field. When I first got in the paranormal, I thought it was just a field too. And then over my investigations and looking up stuff, I realized, oh, there are buildings and houses. That I saw a thing on the Travel Channel years ago where I think it might be the last story you're going to tell. There are still bullet holes and bullets in the walls from the war. They couldn't get them out, so just left them there. They left them alone. And there were bullet holes that are still there. They wouldn't change it because they want to remember the history of what happened because it was so traumatic. So so much stuff happened, and it's like, man, from that I want to go there just for the historic purpose of like, there's
Yeah,
a bullet. I'm looking at a bullet hole, touching a bullet hole that happened 200 years ago.
during
You know,
yeah,
that's amazing.
it's so cool. Yeah, I can't wait for us to start being able to get back out in the field
Mhm.
and really doing some real investigations here.
Yeah,
It's gonna be awesome.
I agree totally. All right, so my last story is on the Gettysburg Hotel.
Nice.
And this is really cool. I've heard this story before. If you ever watch Ghost Hunters, the TAPS team, they investigated it and they looked for this person. A ghostly woman has been seen dancing in the ballroom. I guess plenty of people have supposedly seen a woman just dancing in the ballroom, and they'll go to one of the clerks and be like, "Hey, who's the woman dancing in the ballroom? She's amazing." And they're like, "There's nobody in there. It's locked." But people look in windows and they see her dancing. And paranormal investigators believe that the spirit of James Culbertson of Company K, Pennsylvania Reserves roams the hotel. So it's funny, another military person roaming the hotel. Like, how many more are roaming that we don't even know from military? Must be tons. I mean, how many people's houses? Like, even we should even talk to random people and ask them, like, because let's say you have a house that's built 100 years ago. There could have been a barn or a store or a little shack there where somebody hid out, someone was killed there, or a little mini battle happened there, which creates a haunted area. People, I want people to understand something. Like, people think only houses can be haunted. You can have land that's haunted and put a house on top of it. The house isn't haunted. It's the land that's under it that's haunted. So that creates the illusion of the house being haunted, but it's actually the land. And here in New England, most places, it's going to be the land that's haunted and not the actual house.
It's a good
But that's
point.
my Gettysburg story.
No, that's a good point. It's and that's obvious. It's again something I just didn't think about, but makes 100% sense. A house built over, so like those movies where what Poltergeist was. It was built on an Indian burial ground or something. So was it really the house or was it the ground?
Right.
It's actually a really, really good point.
Mm-hmm.
Really good. Well, my last one I'm going to talk about is the Tilly Pierce House Inn. And historians will tell you the battle took place all over the city as well because of the large number of casualties. And like we said at the beginning, over 50,000 casualties in 3 days. Just such an exorbitant amount of deaths
Ridiculous.
in a short amount of time. And then when you think about it, this war, it was brother against brother. This is just it's civil war. We're fighting. We're infighting, and we're killing this many of our people. Oh my word!
And then you have the fact that, like, and if you lived in Gettysburg, anyone who was able-bodied who wasn't fighting, they were made basically to become nurses.
Yeah,
and help with the wounded. If you weren't fighting, you were basically a medical personnel helping, trying to keep people alive or save lives.
Yeah, and it's with that, that's why so many places were just kind of turned into field hospitals and stuff. Wherever, like, and going back to what I was saying with the now kind of crazy with the COVID going on and them making these sort of field hospitals. I mean, they did one in the back of a semi truck. They did put beds in there in New York and pulled it up alongside a hospital, and that was a COVID unit back of like an 18-wheeler. But yeah, I mean, they were, with that amount of people, 50,000 people dying in 3 days. Every place is going to become a field. Any place that you can, and like you said, anybody's going to be a field nurse at this point. You know how to sew. Okay, now you know how to stitch. So it's oh my, it's just craziness, man. So at the end, people report hearing footsteps walking on above them on the stairs, weird sounds. They report a soldier constantly walking up and down the stairs, which is a fairly common one I'm seeing with hauntings in houses, like up and down stairs. For some reason, it seems like a lot of these entities get stuck just walking up and down stairs for some reason. I don't know why. A lot of these hauntings I read about, it's like, yeah, we just hear them going up and down and up and down. I wonder if they do anything besides just go up and then down. Don't know. So
those are usually what's called residual hauntings, where the spirit has no conception of what's going on. They don't see you. They're just kind of doing about their business. So, and then those usually happen certain times of day, certain times of year. Like, there's usually a time frame, usually, when that type of stuff happens.
Cool. Yeah, I didn't, but yeah, that was that's sort of it on this one. They some people have said they feel like the soldier is walking up and down like as if he was on some sort of patrol, which would make sense, I guess. So yeah, just one other place for us to check out, man.
Again, that would be cool. You're sitting down there having a cup of tea or coffee, shooting the you know what, and all of a sudden, oh, there's Billy going to do patrol. That'd be freaking awesome.
Yeah, it would.
That's my dream, is to like be on a case. Now, don't get me wrong. I believe I've seen some shadow figures, blah, 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 whatever. But to see a full-bodied apparition who looks like you and me, just an actual real person, just walk by me, man, that'd be amazing.
Yes.
And I wonder how I would respond to it. Would I crap myself? Would I crap my pants? Would I be like, "Oh, that's awesome"? I'd be like, "I'm out of here, see ya." I don't think I'd run, but you never know until you experience it.
Yeah, I don't know what my reaction would be. Honestly, I would probably be freaked out and like jump behind you and say,
"Oh, gee, thanks." Yeah. No, that's Robert the doll.
But no, I agree. That's what I really want, like a full-bodied, and just no doubt.
Actually, if it was a Confederate soldier, I'd hide behind you. Actually, if it was a Confederate soldier.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's those bastards.
Those bastards. Sure, piss off Confederate soldiers now, Tom.
Yeah.
Don't burn your house down next.
Well, yeah, I don't care about Confederate soldiers. Fuck them. Oh, excuse me.
Great, piss them off now. Yeah. What if Robert's friends with them?
Yeah, well, they're a bunch of racist traitors anyway. So.
And before I forget, before the show ends, I want to make sure everyone knows we have a website, the Reaper Paranormal Show. Check it out. You can subscribe to our podcast so you don't forget to miss any episodes. We have plenty of links that you can click on, and it'll bring you to iTunes or Spotify or wherever wherever you listen to podcasts. We'll have a link. You can sign up and subscribe to our show and get future episodes. So we don't want to forget to tell you that. And there will be a link in the description below. I will put, so you can just click that link and it'll take you right to the website.
Yeah. And if there's anything you guys want us to discuss, because I mean, we plan on, discussing everything, these topics and other stuff, but if there's something that you'd like us to do sooner, just drop a message somewhere, on a video, on our site, on social media, and we'll bump that up and get it out to you guys. Whatever you guys want to see, for sure.
And you can even email us at parareaper01@gmail.com. That is PARAREAPER01@gmail.com. And email us, like social media. We're going to get a hold of us.
Yeah, we'll do anything, or if you need something investigated, we can get with you and do that. So
we do a live show every Saturday on Geek Perspective. You can pop on that show and talk to us there if you want to.
Yeah,
we're always willing to talk.
For sure.
Anything else you got, Tom?
No, that's it.
All right. So I think another good show today. That was our show today. So thank you for listening. Subscribe to our website. Go to our website and subscribe to all the links and where you listen to podcasts. For Tom and myself, you guys have a spooky day.
Thanks, guys.